Hi guys, my name is Dan. I'm a local tour guide in Romania. I will be the local expert for this future and very charismatic tour that we will have, the mystery in Transylvania, the haunted Romania. We see many castles, and we will talk a lot of this paranormal activity that we have here. Joining this tour of Romania, the haunted Romania, it will give you a better idea of the potential and of the mystery of this place. And I can tell you from now on, we won't talk too much about the Hollywood vampires, but more about the real scary stories about this place of the strigoi, not vampires. So these are the local myths. If you ask a local about the vampires, they won't hear too many things about it, but because they know it by a different name, strigoi or strigaica. These are the undead. These are the spirits who were left behind on this earth. And it is very superstitious. I think superstition started from this place. In the central part of Bucharest, of course, the capital of Romania, there are indeed many buildings, historical monuments that are surrounded in this mystery, and there are a lot of haunting. One of these is Cismigiu Hotel. Cismigiu Hotel, from the beginning of the 20th century, was one of these hotels there. They're wrapped in this mystery. They have a lot of legends, some of them a little strange, a little bizarre, like screams in the middle of the night, brought probably from these former students that were living there. Yeah, for some time it was a students' campus of the film academy. So we will stay actually in that hotel, which is looking at the moment because it was recently restored, but without restoring the screens. In the central part of Bucharest, of course, the capital of Romania, there are indeed many buildings, historical monuments that are surrounded in this mystery, and there are a lot of haunting. One of the stops, one of the important stops in our tour, a place that I'm sure everybody wants to see at least in their lifetime, at least once in their lifetime, is Bran Castle, Dracula Castle. I would put a parallel between Vlad the Impaler and so the former royalty of the southern part of Romania, of Wallachia, and the owners of the 20th century of the castle, the monarchs, the royals of Romania, which were somehow connected with the British family, with the British royal family. So a parallel between Vlad, the royal family in UK, and, because we're talking about UK, of Bram Stoker. All of them in one place, Bran, very well preserved medieval castle from the 15th century. Bran Castle is one of these places where you don't have to go, especially for Halloween, to get some chills on your spine. There are a lot of legends, of course, being such an old place is filled with haunting legends of vampires, and especially starting from this important character, Dracula, or the real Vlad the Impaler, who says, some people say that he sleeps in Bran Castle and in the middle of the night flies 200 miles to the Moldavian mountains to find his prayer. Not far away from Bran Castle, there is another fortification. This is one of the things that we will discover together in Transylvania. It's filled with castles and fortifications. Another one is called Ryshnov. A lot bigger than Bran, but there's no Bram Stoker there, so not too many people know about it. But Ryshnov is indeed a very interesting place, a stage for many historical movies actually, and it has some tales and some haunting stories started from the execution of our former enemies, the Turkish soldiers. On the way from Bucharest, on the way to the mountains, we will stop a little bit of this beautiful location on a lake. It's called Snagov Monastery, a place where the monks, they say for sure, over there is buried this legendary figure of Romania, Vlad the Impaler. So we would know him better by the name of Dracula. It has a lot of history as well. Many of the monasteries in Romania have at least 400 or 500 years old. So there are plenty of nice things to do in the monastery, but also outside near this beautiful lake. We'll get to the Carpathian Mountains, and for a while we will escape a little bit from this mystical bubble, from this idea of finding only paranormal activities, and find also some architectural jewels, we can say, as we will visit one of the most beautiful castles in Europe, that is Peleș Castle, a royal residence. I know it's called Peleș Castle, but you will see after the magnitude. Peleș Castle is a place that you will be amazed of, not only by the quality of the materials that were used, but also by its perfect location at the base of one of the most important mountain range group of mountains in Romania, Bucegi Mountains. We will talk about that a little later as well. Peleș Castle is a museum, a collection of art, and also a collection of architectural elements, all together in only one place, the Peleș Castle. Next door, we have again something unique, smaller, as the name says, Peleș, or is a diminutive. So the smaller Peleș. It has indeed some phenomenon, some paranormal activities. Some people say, I didn't discover that, but I would say, in my personal opinion, that is actually somebody that Romanians know very well, in the spirit of the Queen Mary. Some people are scared that they shouldn't be scared, because it's somebody that we all know, our beloved Queen Mary. When we talk about natural places, everybody's entitled to his own personal opinion. There are indeed some locals, shepherds, who were close to this Hoia forest, even though it looks like a very natural place. forests. As we talk about the forest, is right next door to a very urban area, second biggest city in Romania, Cluj-Napoca. Many people who went there, they are saying that it is very intense, very exhausting experience for them. These people were reporters from The Independent. In their opinion, they said that it's the most frightening forest in the world, even scarier than the ones in Japan, from what's around Tokyo. So this is about Hoya Forest, a place that has a lot of mystery, a little frightening indeed. And what can I tell you for sure is that it's an experience that absorbs a lot of energy from our bodies. As we know, our schedule is full. Plenty of castles, plenty of museums. One of the places that is not very famous internationally, not many people heard about this place, but in my opinion, I can tell you that is the most packed. So it has the best potential for paranormal activity in our whole trip, is this museum slash shrine slash castle, Iulia Hajdeu. So it's a place which was built by a famous writer for his deceased daughter. For Kırța Monastery, this is you see it's a ruin nowadays. There are only a few walls remaining from this former monastery, which had a huge potential, and it's one of the most important architectural monuments that we have in Transylvania when we talk about churches and monasteries. Probably because it was sieged so many times by these enemies that we have. I told you a little earlier about the Turkish occupation and Turkish soldiers. Maybe that's why nowadays people say that it's haunted by monks, probably outraged monks, to see their precious monastery destroyed. Another place which is a must, everybody wants to see this little town in the heart of Transylvania, the birthplace of Vlad the Impaler. This place is called Sighișoara. Sighișoara is, in my opinion, the best example of a medieval fortress in Transylvania. A place left behind by I'm sure you heard about the Saxons. So we will talk about the Saxon population and about Vlad the Impaler, because that was his birthplace. Again, going a little outside the main roads in tourism in Romania and Transylvania, will go far west, a few hundred miles away, to see one of the most interesting castles in this part of Europe, not only Romania, Corvin Castle, or how we call it locally, Castelul Corvinilor. Corvinus is a Latin name for raven. Corvin. This has many stories of royalty and how they got to the throne through this black bird, the raven. So when we get over there, besides the fact that it's this imposing Gothic castle, you will hear a lot of stories, and I'm sure you will have many surprises when we get to this place. In the second part of the tour, we'll have time to go again a little higher on the on the mountain tracks, mountain roads, to another ruined castle with again with a lot of potential. It's called Poyonar Castle. The one that was indeed one of the constructions, one of the main fortresses built by our great leader Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, you will see that Romanians are jokers, you know, and so we make fun of bad situations usually, you know, a face haz de necaz. And one of the things is this Poyonar Castle, because it's the place. And I said over there in one of my lines, it kills you to get there, because there are a lot of stairs in order to get to Poyonar Castle. But once you get there, you will see why it is worth it. Poyonar Castle is indeed, for real, the castle where Vlad the Impaler had many strategies. So many of his trusted generals were gathered in this castle, Poyonar, and some of the battles were concentrated from this point forward in Wallachia, lower from the Carpathian Mountains. So yes, we can say for sure that Poyonar Castle was the real castle. Again, another location very close to the capital is a natural place. We call it the Witch's Well or Witch's Pond. This is an area where we will go by foot, and it has a lot of energy around this pond. I'm not the only one who says this, but I can tell you for sure many of rituals of the local witches, the local gypsy witches, are held over there for specific dates. Being close to the area where Vlad the Impaler was assassinated, so close to Snagov Monastery, there are people who said that this was actually this pond was the place where he was killed. That's why there is so much energy around this forest and the pond, and that's why many witches are forming gatherings there and rituals. And we will talk about these specific dates as well during our tour, because they are only for Romania. Nobody else heard about Sânziene festival, for example.